Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 467. It is Wednesday here in Cincinnati. It is a gray day. We're about to get some more rain, and I am recording early because tomorrow morning I go on a field trip with my husband and 50 of his students and a few teachers for 3 days to Gatlinburg for all kinds of adventures. So today I am recording early in order to be able to go away and be present with the students. It's so interesting. The title for today is We Are Unique. And as I reflect on what I'm about to do for the next couple of days, I am just so grateful that we have teachers, that we have educators, we have those brave souls who are willing to stand, as my husband says, stand up in front of a group of kids every hour and teach and somehow have value and content to deliver hour after hour to a day's worth of students every day for months. So thank you to all of our teachers, the educators, the ones who are showing the future generations what we need to learn. And I also feel like the educational system is in such a time of change, and we find our teachers in all different ways, which is what brings me to today's title. When I was meditating earlier, I was feeling into a few different topics that I thought I wanted to cover, and the sense of Aquarius energy, the feeling, I'll try to put a feeling to it so you can see if it resonates with you. What I have been experiencing over the past couple weeks, probably the past couple of months, is this uneasiness in a sense of not totally relaxed, not completely in the flow, knowing where I'm going, what's happening, all the energies. I can feel that things are shifting and changing and morphing a little bit, and I'm not quite sure yet what it's going to become, and I feel like I'm letting go of what was, but am I really? Is there still some part of me that's kind of attached to some of those ideas, relationships, ways of being? And as I said in yesterday's reel on Instagram, letting go of the old story without having any idea of what the new one actually will be. And that sort of in-between void, unknown space is so unsettling in our physical bodies. We can tell something is shifting, but we're not quite sure what it is. And so we're trying to find our way. If any of that feeling is what you're experiencing, then this message will be such a powerful delivery for you. Because when I felt the message coming through, I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I need to hear and what I need to remember. So, how to put all of this into words. This is the challenge, right? It's take the energy and somehow make it articulate in a way that you can receive it and put some construct or imagery around it. The big picture, we'll do big picture, and then we'll bring it down to now, like here now, this moment. Field trip to Gatlinburg tomorrow. Meta, micro. So the meta would be, as my third eye is like, rah! The meta would be, I believe that all of us originate from one energy field, consciousness, form of existence. And maybe you call that God or Buddha or one. I call it Source. It's just the word that best describes to me the feeling of it. So I believe there's this one original energy, and somehow within that one original energy, there's this desire for something new to be created or expressed, some new thing to flow from the origin of the thing. And from that origin or source, individual souls are created, are birthed, are formed, because there's a desire within the one to express in a new way, a unique way. It's almost like to take a thread and start following the thread this way, while the main energy is still continuing. There's this little thread, and then another little thread, another little thread, another little thread. And so creation continues because we have all of these desires and threads that are expressing and experiencing and then coming back when they're complete into the one, and then a new concept, a new idea. And so there's just this constant movement of the energy, and the whole of source becomes bigger and more creative and more expressive the more of us who are doing this individual dance as souls. Meta philosophy, big concepts. It's taken me 53 years to be able to articulate that as well as I just did. I'm so proud of myself. Like, I feel like I just delivered a philosophy lecture with a lot of hand movements, trusting that in this Pluto and Aquarius energy, you received the transmission. You get it. If this philosophical idea is true, and so we are all just expressions from one origin, one source, then that would mean we're a we that's actually a one, an I am. There's one I am, and from that there's all these little I ams that make up a we. We are one. How are we one? Because there's multiple little ones in the big one. So, from that, in my meditation, this phrase just dropped in. I was like, how do I summarize what I'm feeling? This unease and unsettled experience right now of changing, but knowing I'm changing into something that I desire, that I just don't have a form for it yet or an understanding of it yet. I can feel who I'm becoming, but I'm not that yet, and I know I'm not what I was, and I'm in this in-between. And the phrase, we are unique, came through. Not, I am unique, we. And so I was like, that's exactly what it feels like. There's a collective movement of energy, a current of energy that's carrying me, you, all of us, that we're all sort of co-creating. None of us seems to know really what we're becoming or what the future of humanity is or what consciousness will evolve into. We all have lots of ideas. We talk about climate change and the earth and saving the planet and AI and financial crises and recession and renaissance and like all the things. We talk about all of this, but there's no one authority who's saying, this is what is going to happen next. And here's the sequence and the steps. And if you follow it like this, this is what the future will look like. We're all forming it, molding it together. So we are doing that as a collective humanity. And we're each individual unique expressions. Each one of us came here to Earth, to Gaia, to live out an individual story. I came here for my story. You came here for your story. 8 billion of us came here for individual stories, individual expressions. We birthed from source to do something, to explore a concept or an emotion or create a planet or build a solar galaxy. I don't even know. I don't know. We birthed to create something that didn't exist before we were birthed. That's the meta. So if all of these individual desires and threads and expressions somehow arrive here on Earth, 8 billion individuals, all from the origin, the same origin. We all come from some original light, energy, frequency, creation, and we're here with our own unique desires. How do we find the we in that's harmonious, that's supportive? And maybe it already is exactly as it is right now. Maybe what looks like chaos and disorder and mess and disharmony is actually the most perfect symphony ever created. I like to believe that in my super positive moments. I'm like, yes, every single thing that's happening right now on this planet is perfect. Even the ones who are suffering, they're suffering for a cause, and they're suffering. In my highest consciousness, I can hold that. In my humanness, sometimes that's so challenging. It's so against what makes sense to my logical mind. Like, why? Why do we have to suffer? Why do we have to harm each other? Why do we have to have poverty and hunger? And I don't understand illness. Like, the the soul in me has meta views, and the human in me is like, this makes no sense. So this idea of we are unique, the phrase, the mantra, whatever words you want to give the energy of it, it feels like this to me. There is a unique expression that I believe each one of us as humans are here to fulfill for ourselves. And that doesn't mean you have a mission that you have to accomplish, and if you don't fulfill the mission, you're a failure. I don't feel it like that. I feel it like there's a frequency, an energy, an intention, a pathway, a thread that each soul is here to follow and move. And maybe the entire thread is I explore the concept of compassion in this lifetime. You don't save the world through having your own exploration of compassion, but you contribute this incredible, unique frequency to the whole collective when you're in alignment with why you're here, what you're wanting to explore, what your thread is feeling like for you. Some people, I believe, are meant to have big voices, big energies, big platforms, but the majority of souls are here just for the human physical experience. Why, Gaia? Because you get to put on a physical body. The soul, the infinite, comes into this human form, and you taste, you touch, you feel, you smell, you hold, you hug, you breathe, you yell, you... You get to be a human. Have you not watched City of Angels? Like, this is the whole point. Why embody? To be a human. That could be the whole point for 7 billion of the humans. And maybe the soul is like, explore physicality and also play with grief. Play with anger. Expand your understanding of philosophy. Expand your understanding of science, biology, the impact of water. I mean, the options are absolutely endless, and I believe that's why there are so many embodied souls. That's why we have 8 billion of us. There are all these potential realities that coexist at the same time. What I believe is part of the story or part of the experience right now is that because it's so much, because there's so many, it becomes tight, condensed. It's like if you, like for me, when I go into a big crowded space, a concert or an arena or a big crowded city, and I'm walking and I'm a short, small person, when I feel squished and tiny and I can't see above people's shoulders and I don't know what's actually happening around me, I tend to feel more fear. I feel weaker. I feel tighter, smaller. I don't stand up in all of my power and strength and light and rah, right? I don't do that. I get smaller, and it gets very confusing for me. The noises, when there's a lot of people making a lot of noise, it's a lot hitting my system, and I can feel that. I'm like, oh, like my nerves get a little jangly. And I have a pretty good capacity. I can navigate most places very well, but there is still a limit to how much feels comfortable to me. If you think how many humans let me put it this way. How many souls, this is their first human experience, or maybe their 5th or 10th, not their 100th, not their 1000th. They've just started coming to Earth. They're just feeling the human thing. They're like, I have to put food in my mouth, feed myself. I have to sleep. You mean you have to shave and wash and what? What is this human body? And then it gets ill and I have to navigate illness and the emotions and the heart and the feeling and there's a lot of humans, souls in human bodies, who are completely overwhelmed by the human realm. Completely. They're like, I thought it would be a breeze. I thought I'd go drop in there, have a little visit, see Earth, back out into the universe. But they're here and they're like, what? And then there's time. And time on Earth stretches. It slows down. So slow. Until you start to figure it out. And then it speeds up. And then you can't. And then you... It's another element of the human realm. So what do? You're stuck. You're here. You got to play it out. You got to keep going. When you think of the combination of that, first timers, virgins, newbies, the new ones who haven't done it before, being congested, constricted by the collective experience. What happens is it's easier to numb out. It's easier to not really dive into the fullness of the challenge of the creative experience, to hand our power over to someone who seems to have it figured out, to hand our power over to what everybody else is handing their power over to. So we're all like, here, take my power, take my energy, take my time, my attention, my focus, my wisdom, take it all. And so we build up celebrities who keep us distracted. Experiences, sports, whatever, right? We build up these things that we hand our power to, and then here we are, just watching the show. And I believe many of us have moments of this, but I also believe there are many humans who are constantly in the state of just handing power over and doing the minimum required to survive life and just sort of passing through. And maybe that's perfect. If I'm in my meta view, I would say, well, that's perfect because we're still co-creating a collective experience. We're still supporting the evolution of our planet because there's so many of us here. And every soul learns something. So you still leave Gaia with some advancement in your soul's evolution. It's not a waste of time. None of it is ever wasted. And yet, are we contributing the most that we could? Are we receiving the most that we could? It's like my husband and I are going to Europe this summer. I could show up the first day and I could say, yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm going to sit here at this table in this one restaurant for the whole day, or at this pool in this one hotel and just watch the view. And it's going to be beautiful. Or I could go try this restaurant and walk through this town and go on this cliff and get in this and walk along the cliff's edge and see the views, and get on a boat and go see the grotto, and then go over here and explore this and have a conversation with this person, and all the range in between. How do I choose to go all the way in to my life? Pluto in Aquarius is going to shift and bump up our reality and start to show us the places where we're not fully maximizing the potential of our infinite soul. Our infinite soul is huge, wise, grand, knowledgeable, big, condensed into this one human form. We can expand our human form and take up more space and share and create and express and be the fullness of our infinite self as much as we can handle or metabolize. Or we shut it all down, hand over our power, our energy, our resources, our wisdom, to whoever we want to hand it to, whoever wants to take it from us. Pluto in Aquarius is going to say, I'm going to show you what you're doing. So here I am making this video saying to you, is this what you're doing? Is this what you see the people around you doing? Is this a video you need to share because you see everyone around you is doing this thing? And maybe this thing isn't actually serving us. Maybe this is a time to wake up. I like to call it a time to remember. It's a time to remember how big we are, how vast, how infinite the universe is, and how we're here in this little tiny planet called Gaia, Earth. Teeny, teeny, tiny. 8 billion of us squished into this little place, trying to find room to be, to express. The room to express comes from within us. It comes from the infinite. The infinite within us going, take up more space. Claim a video camera, a microphone, a technological platform, and emit your voice, your brilliance, your light out into humanity. Be, share, create, express. If that's what you're here to do, if that's what you feel called to. If it's not that, which is perfect, then be the fullness of yourself in your relationships, in your job, in your home. Take up more space in your home. Like, clean out a room, get rid of the clutter, and like breathe into the infinite in your home. What would your infinite soul desire your home to look like, to feel like? Your relationships to look like? How would your infinite soul, if your soul was whispering through my voice right now to you, what would it say about the way you spend your days? The things you're doing with your time? What would your soul tell you? It probably would not say, just hang out and zone out and don't do anything and let 10 years go by. No, your soul would say, what else could we create? What else could we learn? What else could we feel? I believe the infinite soul does not back away from relationships or experiences or adventures or collaborations. The infinite soul is like, yes, let's do it. Yes, let's try it. It might suck. I might not be good at it, but it's okay. Like, I know I'll be okay on the other side, and I'll never regret that I tried, that I did it, that I gave my all. I might regret how I was in the process, but I'm learning. Okay, I'm getting better at it. Every day I'm getting a little better at it. A couple of the people I follow, they keep saying a 1% incremental shift every day. You don't have to do a 180, just a 1% shift today, tomorrow, the next day. Over a year, you've been cranking things out. Like, your reality suddenly becomes something totally different. So we are unique. Here is the piece that I really was feeling that ties it together. For me, how do I say this? If it's true that each one of us is unique, that we have our own expression, creation, experiences, way of being, then giving our power over to other people keeps us from being unique. Sometimes when we are stuck in a pattern, a time, a relationship, a health crisis, whatever, when we get sort of stuck, like COVID kind of stuck people, some people, many people. When we get stuck in a frequency, we can feel that there's more that wants to emerge, that wants to birth through us, but we don't know how to get ourselves out of our own way, how to get ourselves moving again, how to tap back into that unique energy inside. And so sometimes what serves us is to put ourselves into places where those around us are being unique, are living unique, are expressing unique. And I know I should say uniquely, but unique just sounds more powerful in this moment. In that expression of being unique, they inspire something. They light a spark within us. And so we become more individually because we're putting ourselves in places where the we is a strong energy, a strong activation. So for me, for example, I was feeling that sort of stuckness, stagnation after COVID. I really, really like being home. And I really liked not having to take care of a lot of other energies and people or, yeah. And so I was enjoying it. And I also could feel that I was getting lazy. That's not quite the right word. Comfortable. I was getting very comfortable. And comfortable is not the path I came here for. I came here for big, big expression of my soul. A completion of all the experiences I've had here on earth, culminating in this lifetime. So it's sort of a big path. And so comfortable is not supporting big. And so what I found is putting myself into a mentorship with Melanie Ann Layer, who runs the Alpha Femme experience. Putting myself into that community started to activate memories, awarenesses within myself. Her uniqueness, her expression of being so in her own flow, her own creation process, her own way of being, sparked awake in me a match of that. And the people in the community she called in activated rememberings in me that allowed me to get things moving more quickly. And so sometimes being unique in a we actually helps us get moving again. So yes, the unique individual in the experience of Pluto and Aquarius may still need a we community experience or space in order to really activate, awaken, remember the unique that you are, that I am, that each of us are. It feels contradictory, and that's what I was sort of moving through in my meditation space. It's contradictory that I'm going to be unique, but I discover or remember my uniqueness in a we, in a community. What is that? Isn't that handing over our power? And it isn't. Handing over our power is, here's my power. I don't need to activate anything in myself. I'm just going to stay comfortable back here doing my thing. Not wanting to explore consciousness or evolution or the soul or the infinite, just being very happy. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're feeling. But if you're watching this video, you probably want something more, which is why you started watching this video. There's a knowing that the frequency I'm emitting is a message you need to hear. Your soul brought you into this conversation. So this is another example of the we are unique. Your desire to be more yourself, more uniquely your own way, called you towards a video where I would say it's about we. It's about the creation that happens, the energy, the sparks that fly when you are inspired by someone who's clearly in their flow, who knows they're here in alignment and is expressing that and sharing that and being that, and it sparks something awake in you, and you're like, I want to do that in my life. I want to be that way. I don't want to just watch someone else do it. I want that. So if this is waking something up in you, this is an invitation directly from me to you. Set up an activation session. I have 11 sessions in March open, and then they're gone. Then I'll book for May. Or April, right? We're in March. Yeah, we're starting March. Because it's a leap year tomorrow. Another little ting from the universe that it's time to change. It's time to shift. Because, we only have that every 4 years. I also offer community spaces in the practicum. And you can choose whatever level feels good to you. You can sort of tiptoe your way in at the $111 a month exchange, and it's mostly just some meditations and activations, but you're not directly in a lot of conversation with people. There's new moon intention setting. It's a little more calm. And then the next level is adding calls, adding connection, and I'm in all of those calls. I host them. I hold the space. And so you'll be in my energy field, just like I was in Melanie's. And it activates something. It gets you going. You're like, oh, I can't hide anymore. Someone sees me. What is it they do? Someone sees me. Oh, Now I gotta be me. I gotta discover and remember what my uniqueness is and begin expressing it because someone's holding me accountable. And so the practicum has all different levels. You can commit as much time and energy and financial money as you want to into the spaces, and it'll activate according to that time commitment. So yeah, you'll find that on my website. I'll put the link in the description. And then I am opening a program, an offer in April. It starts on Earth Day, and it's called Remember. It will be 8 days of activations, and each one will be an hour and a half. It's a community space, so the call will be an hour and a half. I'll channel just like this. I'll share my thoughts for about 30, 40 minutes. And then the rest of the time is energy reading, Q&A. I open up the microphone and you or whoever is in the space, we share, we talk, we get pinged awake, we remember. We remember. And in that remembering, our uniqueness is like activated. And then we're on our path in a different way. So that program begins on Earth Day. It will run for 8 days. It's $2,222. If you say that you're in before the program starts, I'm also going to include my self-study course, which is called Awakening the Guides. It has hours of just beautiful channeled messages, meditations, videos, conversations, all about this process of awakening, of remembering who we are. And so this first time I'm running Remember, I'll be including Awakening the Guides in it as a bonus. Once the program starts in April, Awakening the Guides is separate, and that program on its own is $1,111. So if you decide, I'm not ready for Remember, I'm not quite in that space yet, I don't want to commit to a year, I don't really want your eyes on me in an activation session because I know you're going to activate me. Oh, the activation sessions are $333 for an hour. If you don't want my eyes on you individually, you're like, I just want to try something out, then you could do any of the meditations on my website, which range from $33 to $111, or you can do the Awakening the Guides course for $1,111. And that course might be a really gentle process for you because you have lifetime access. You could explore one module a month. You could do one module a year, but you'll get really... That's keeping you comfortable. If you do one module a month for 8 months, you're going to have huge shifts in your reality in this year of 2024. And you'll never have to be in a one-on-one with me. You'll just be receiving messages in this way that I'm delivering them right now. And just keep coming back to the podcast. And that may be exactly the process that's perfect for you. So you'll know. What's beautiful is that there's a we space waiting and available, and in that you get to be unique. I don't want many Vivs. I don't want many of anybody else. I want you, uniquely you, expressing your way, fulfilling your potential, bringing your dreams, your desires as a soul to expression in the human form in your way. And in the spaces that I hold, that's what happens. So there you go. It's March this weekend. I need to wrap up because I have a whole list of things to do today before we leave tomorrow for Gatlinburg. If you are not following me on Instagram, this would be a great weekend to do it. There's my business one, which is infinite.embodiment.in.gaia, which has all kinds of beautiful content. And then there's my personal one, which is viv.ienne for Vivienne.Gerard. And I will be sharing stories about the adventures of 50 students on a field trip with me dipping into my husband's reality for a brief moment to see if I can keep up. I wish you so much love. This is a beautiful time of consciousness expanding on our planet, and it is just such a delight for me to be in the flow that I am in. Oh, also, if you're on Insight Timer, I just joined as a teacher and I'm uploading meditations there. So you can follow me at Vivienne Gerard on that app. They're pretty cool. The meditations that are flowing through for that are really beautiful. So, all right. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.